Thanks for clicking on this tutorial. This is Bakapa here. In this tutorial, I'll discuss about how to read the Excel file and how to read each of the columns and put into the hash map. Finally, I'll be discussing about how to get each test data in a different test cases. So I'll move on to the Eclipse ID. So here I'll give an overview on the Excel file what I'm referring for. So under the files folder, I'm having demo for Excel file. So this is the header I'm having. So like this, you'll be having a number of columns. So just for the demo purpose, I have added these 4 columns. So I'll be having a number of test cases like this. Maybe for test case 1, we may need the different set of test data. For the test case 2, we may need the different set of test data. So for that reason, at the end of this session, you'll be learning how to read particular test case data and how to fetch in the Selenium WebDriver TestNG test cases. So simply I'll move on to our high level agenda. So this is the agenda I'm having. So first I'll be discussing about how to create the utility method that returns the list of hash map values. So within that I'll be discussing about how to count the number of columns, then how to read the Excel file headers and add it to the array list object. Then finally I'll talk about how to iterate through all the rows and increase the column count. So in this step we'll be learning how to read the test case data for each test cases and put into the hash map. Then finally I'll be creating the multiple Selenium WebDriver TestNG test cases. So within that I'll discuss how to create the utility method that returns the web browser instance. So this is the example I'm taking here. So let us say we have created the test 1. So how to fetch the test case 1 test data from the Excel file. So like this for the test 2, we'll be creating the test 2 there. How to get the test case 2 test data from the Excel file. So like this you'll be having n number of test cases. So then you'll be learning how to fetch the data from the Excel file. So simply I'll move on to the Eclipse ID now. So before moving on to this particular session, so I would recommend you to go and watch this particular tutorial, that is read data from Excel and convert into the hash map. So if you have already gone through this tutorial, so it will be easy to understand. This is a part 2 tutorial on the top of that tutorial. So let us go ahead and create the utility method that returns the list of hash map values. So in our demo, so I'll be referring the file that is under the files folder. We are having demo for Excel file. So now I'm creating the one simple method. Sorry guys. So under the com.testautomation.utilities. So here already we have created Excel utility. So this particular class I have created while discussing this particular tutorial, that is read data from Excel and convert into the hash map. So I'll open the same class now. So simply I'll copy and paste this particular method. So we will reuse the most of the stuff same. So I'll just update the return type of this method as list of map values. So that's it. So here I'll say method name as get test data in map. So that's it guys. So after that, here I'll declare the one reference variable, that is a list of map values, and here I'll say the variable name as test data all rows. Then I'll assign the null value to this variable. So that's it. So here just I'll delete this particular hash map object. This we will create in the for loop while we are adding the each test case data in the hash map. So here I'll assign the null value to the test data map. So that's all, guys. So after that, so here we are reading the Excel file. So under the files folder we had the demo4.xlsx file. So just I have renamed to the demo4. So rest of the things will be same. So let us jump into the first point. So we need to count the number of columns. So if you need to count the number of columns, you should be having the row number. So here we are referring the header as the 0th column. So if you read the 0th row, then you will automatically getting the number of columns from this particular sheet. So we need to read the 0th row, then we will get the total number of columns. So here I will use the sheet object. I'll say dot get I'll say get row. So inside this we have to mention the row number. So in our Excel file, so we are referring the 0th row. So simply I'm mentioning the row number as 0th. Then I'll say get last cell number. So this will returns the total number of columns in this particular row. So simply I'll store the value into the integer type. So I'll say last call number. So this particular line number, that is a line number 52, it will gives us the total number of rows in this particular sheet, and line number 54, it will give us the total number of columns. So that's it, guys. Let us move on to the next point. So now we have read the total number of columns. Then now we have to read the Excel file header, and we need to add into the list type of collection, right? So simply I'll go to the Eclipse ID now. So here I'll create the object of the array list. So after reading these headers, that is a row number 1, row number 0th. After reading this header, that is a test case ID, user, password and keyword, so on. After reading these headers, we need to add to the array list object. So that's the reason here I'm creating the object of the array list. Then simply I'll assign back to the list type. I'll say list here. That's it. That's it, guys. So now we have the object of the array list. Now we have to read the header of this particular row, that is a 0th row. So here I'll write a simple for loop that iterates through all the columns, that is the column starting from the 0th column till the end of the column. So for loop. So here if I need to iterate through this particular column numbers, so I need to start from the 0th and I need to run till the end of the total number of columns. So already we have the last column number, so simply I'll paste it here. So this particular for loop is running from the 0th till end of the total number of columns, right? So once we have this, so we need the row number. So once we have the row number, we can read one by one all the column values here. For that reason, what I will do, I'll take the object of the sheet, then I'll say get row. So here I'll mention simply this particular row number, that is a 0th row. So that's it, guys. So this return as the row type of value. I'll say row. That's it, guys. So once we are having the row value, then simply you can read one by one this column values. First one is a test case ID, then user, password, keywords, and so on, right? So simply you need to take the row reference variable, then you need to call to the one method called get cell. So this is expecting the integer value. So let us say so I'm referring for the zeroth row, that is a row number 0th here. Whenever the I value is 0, so it will be pointing to the this particular column value, that is a test case ID. Whenever the I value is 1, so it will point to the user, right? So how to get these values, right? So now our I value is 0, so now it will point to this particular test case ID column. So simply you need to pass the I value here. So whenever I increments, it will keep on getting the next columns from this particular row number. So this will return as the cell type of value. I'll say cell. So once you are having the cell value, then you can convert into the string value. So we'll say get string cell value. That's it. Then finally I'll say trim. So this is returning as the string value now. So here I'll say row header. So that's it, guys. So whenever the I value is 0, so it will get the value of this particular column, that is the 0th column. Whenever I value is increment, so it will point to this particular user, then it will store into this particular string value. So keeps on it getting the next value in this particular 0th row. That's where we have specified here the 0th row. Once you started getting the values, you need to add this particular value to this array list, what we have created the object of the array list. So simply I'll take the array list object here, then I'll say add. Simply I'll pass the string value here. So after executing this particular for loop, at the end this particular list will be having all these particular column value. That is in the first index it will store the test case ID, in the next it will store the user, next it will store the password, and so on. So that's all about reading the Excel sheet headers and storing into the array list object. So next point is we need to iterate through all the rows, then we need to increase the column count so that we can get each column value from this Excel file. We can put it into the HashMap, right? So let us iterate through all the rows from the Excel file. So here I'm writing, so let me delete all the stuff here which is not required now. Here I'm writing one simple for loop, int j equal to 1. Then I'll say j less than or equal to the row number. So we need to specify the last row number. Then I'll say j plus plus. So you might be having the question here, so why I'm starting this particular for loop from the 1. So if you look at our Excel file, right, so already 0th row is referred as a header. So our test data is starting from the row number 1. So that's the reason here I'm specifying it as a 1. Then it will run till the end of the row number. If this Excel is having 1000 rows, it will run till end of the Excel file. I mean till end of the row number. So that's it. So if I need to read the row number first, so how do I read it? So you need to use the sheet object in the similar way how we have performed the action here, right? In the similar way you need to use the sheet object. Then you need to say get row. So row number, it should be keep on increasing whenever the j value increments. So that's the reason simply I'll pass the j value here. So that's it, guys. So this will return as the row type of value. So simply I'll say row. So that's it. So most of the stuffs are done. So once we are having the row value, so reading these column values are very easy. So the simple way what we have followed over here. So once getting the row, so simply we started reading the all the column values just by adding one simple for loop. So till it is running till the end of the number of columns. The similar way here also I'll write the one more for loop int k equal to 0, k less than. So I need to specify the last column number here, because why I'm writing this particular for loop is, let me complete this for loop, then I will explain you. So that's it. I'll say k plus plus. So let us say, guys, so currently j value is 1, so it will get this particular row, that is a test case 1 test data entire row. So here I'm saying get row. Whenever the j value is 1, it will get the whole data, this particular whole row data. Once I got the whole row data, I need to keep on reading all the column values. First time, so I need to read the test case 1, second time I need to read the user, and the third time I need to read the password, and so on, like this, right? So for that reason, so this particular for loop is for increasing the column count, so that whenever we get this particular row value, we need to read the each columns in that particular row. So that reason I'm writing this particular for loop here, right? In the similar way, so I'll use this particular row, then I'll say get cell. So simply you need to pass the k value here. So it is the same approach what here we have followed. So here we have just specified the row number directly 0th row. So because our header was there already in the 0th row, that's the reason we have specified the 0th row as, constant value. If you look at here, so just we are passing the dynamic row number. So we are keep on increasing the row number, right? So that's it, guys. So you need to use the row reference variable. After that you need to call to the get cell, then this will return as the cell type of value. Here I'll say cell. So once you are having the cell value, then simply you need to call to the one method called get string cell value. So this will return as the string value. So simply I'll store that into the string variable, that is a column value. So that's it, guys. So this is all about reading the headers, and then we are reading the each rows, and we are storing that into the string type of variable. So if we look at our method, so at the end of the tutorial, so this method should return as the list of map values. So that's the reason. So we have not created the object of the array list and assigned to this particular reference variable. Simply I'll copy this reference variable. Here I'll create the object of the new array list of type list of map values. Here I'll say map. Here I'll say string. Then I'll say string. So that's it, guys. So currently we are having the object created for the array list of map values, and whenever our row is increases, right, we have to create the hash map object or the tree map object, right? So that's the reason we can add each row data into the map type. So here I'll just copy this reference variable, that is a map reference variable. Inside this, whenever we add a row into the particular this object, that is a array list of map object. So here I'll create the object of the tree map. So why I'm creating the object of the tree map is, so simply it stores the values in a, so why I'm creating the object of the tree map is, so simply it preserves the insertion order. So that's it. So here I'll say string, then here I'll say string dot case in sensitive order. That's it, guys. So whenever we are having the column value, so we need to put into the hash map, right? So this is a hash map object I'm having. Simply I'll take this hash map object. Now here I'll say put. So we need to pass the key and the value here. Already value we are getting here for each column. So we need to get the key. So in this particular Excel, right? So always this 0th row act as the key, and rest of the rows will be acting as a value. So key will be always same and the value will be different for the different test cases, right? So here key, so already we have stored that into the array list object. So simply I'll use the list object, then I'll say dot get, then I'll specify the index. So if I need to get this particular index, that is a 0th index sheet header, so if I need, so simply I'll pass the index, so that is the k value here. So let us say we got the one row, that is row number 1. So simply it will get the whole row data here into the row type. So inside the for loop, so this particular for loop is for iterating through all the columns one by one like this. So first it will iterate through this column, 0th column, and the B column and the C column and D column, and so onwards if you are having multiple columns, right? So here, so whenever the k value is 0, so simply this particular list what we have created here, right? So this will return as by using the get method based on the index. Let's say k value is 0, simply it will return as the test case ID. Whenever the k value is 1, so simply it will gets the user as the header, that is a key here, and we need to simply pass the value here. So already we are having the value here. So simply I'll copy this and I'll paste it here. So that's it, guys. So simply I'll say string conversion. So now, so whenever we read each row, we are adding into this particular hash map values. That's a map type of values, right? So return type of this particular method, right? So list of map values. So that's the reason we have created the object of this particular array list. If you look at the line number 64, right? So simply I'll copy this particular object, then I'll paste it here. I'll say add. So if you look at here, you're getting the multiple options, right? So the very first option, that is a map type. So you can add the map type of values. So if you look at this line number 72, whenever we read each row data, we're adding each column value into this particular test data dot put. That is where we are passing the each column value and we are storing that into the key and value format. So here I'll say just add map type. So here I'll pass the object of this particular test data. So that's it, guys. So at the end, simply I'll pass this particular, simply I'll return the test data all rows. So advantage of this particular method, right? So at the end of this particular method, so this particular reference variable will be holding all the test data, and where the key will be acting as a test case ID and rest of the values. So based on the index what we have specified in our test cases. So that's all about implementing this particular method. So let me give you the summary once again here. So we have created the one reference variable of type list of map values. Then we have assigned the value as a null here. After that, we are reading this particular Excel file, that is demo4.xlsx file. And after that, we are counting the number of columns by using the 0th row. Then we are reading each header and we are adding to the array list object here to refer that as a key, and the rest of the values are the value. So that will be acting as a value in the hash map. Then I have created an object of the array list of type list of map values. Then so here I'm just iterating through all the rows which are there in this particular Excel file, starting from the 1 till end of the rows. Then inside this particular for loop, every time whenever the new row comes, here I'm creating the object of the tree map. So I'm assigning back to the map type of object. And if you look at this particular for loop, so this is for iterating through this particular columns. Let us say first time it will point to the A column, then B column, and the C column, and so on, whenever this K value increases. So that's it. After reading each column data, we are adding into the hash map. Then finally, I'm taking this hash map value, then we are putting into the test data for all rows. So this is capable of holding the list of map values. Finally, I'm returning the test data for all rows. So that's it, guys. So that's all about implementing the utility method that returns the list of hash map values. So let us jump to the final point. Let's create the multiple test Selenium WebDriver TestNG test cases. They will implement the one utility method that returns the browser instance. So simply I'll go to the one of the package called com.testautomation.demo. There I'm creating a one class. So here I'm mentioning the class name as read Excel test data. So that's it. I'll click on finish button. So here I'm creating a one method public void. Here I'll say test1. So I'll surround this particular method with the @test. So simply I'll import it from the org.testng.annotations. So that's it, guys. So as we insert this particular class, that is Excel utility.java. So this is a public static method. So that's the reason I can use the Excel utility class name dot. So simply I'm calling to the implemented method. So here I'll say get test data in map. So this return as the list of map values. So here I'll say list of type map. Then here I'll say the string, comma. Then I'll say string again. So here I'll say test data in map. So that's it, guys. Now I can import the related packages from the java.util. So let me surround this particular line with the try and catch block. That's it, guys. So now this is a test1, right, guys? If you look at this example, so test1 will get the test data of test case 1, and test2 will get the test data of test case 2 from the Excel file, right? So let us do the first one, test1 we have created in our read Excel test data. So where we have created the test1 as a test method. So let us try to read the data from the Excel. So let me read the test case 1 data. So let me read the user one and the password one. So by using these two key values, first one is the user as a key and the second one is the password as a key. Then automatically we should be able to get the respective values, that is the user one and the password. So here I'll say I'll use the object of the list of map values. So here I'll write system.out.println. So simply I'm using this object of the test data in map. Then I'll say get. So if you look at here, right, so it is asking us to specify the index. So always array list, it stores the data starting from the 0th index. So our test case 1 is present in the 0th index. So simply I'll select this method. Here I'll mention the 0. Then I'll say one more get, where you need to pass the object key. So what was our key? So our key was the user. So this one was one key and the next key was password. Simply I'll copy this line and I'll paste it one more time. So here I'll say password. So that's it, guys. So simply I'll close this Excel file. So let me execute this TestNG test case. So after this, we will be creating the multiple Selenium WebDriver TestNG test cases and we will execute the multiple test cases, how to read the data from the Excel for multiple test cases. So if you look at here, right, our test case got passed, there are 0 failures, and if you look at the console output, so it is printing the user one and the pass one. So same data is present in our Excel file also. If I open the demo for Excel file, for test case 1 we are having the value as a user one and the pass one as a password value. So what I will do now, I'll create the multiple test cases now. So before adding the multiple test cases, let us implement the utility method that return as the web browser instance. So simply I'll go here. So inside the com.testautomation.utilities, I'll create the class called browser utility. So that's it. I'll click on finish. So here I'm creating the one public static. So return type I will mention as a WebDriver type. Then I'll say get driver. So that's it, guys. You can import the WebDriver from the Selenium. So this method is accepting the parameter 1, that is a browser. So I'll take the browser here. So now we can say the return type, because we have specified the return type as a WebDriver. So here I'll say WebDriver equal to driver equal to null. So that's it, guys. So I'll take this particular browser string variable. Here I'll say if browser dot equals if it is equals to the Chrome, then you can return the Chrome object, right? So for launching the Chrome browser, you need to specify you need to set the property where exactly the Chrome driver exists. That is a location of the Chrome driver. Then simply you can create the object of the Chrome driver, then assign back to the driver type. So already we have created the driver variable, reference variable. Simply I'll assign back to the driver type. So that's it. You can import the Chrome driver. So that's it, guys. So simply I need to call to this particular method by using the class name dot get driver. There we need to pass the browser name. So we can add the multiple browsers. In my case, just I have added the Chrome browser. So if I pass after calling to this method, if I pass the Chrome, so simply it will return as the Chrome driver object. So you can specify else, then you can simply specify the another browser also. So let us say IE. So rest of the things you can perform inside this particular else method. So if you're passing the value as parameter as IE, so it will come to this particular statement and it will gives you the IE driver if you're working with the IE browser. So in my case, I'll be calling to this method and I'll be passing the Chrome, then simply it will return as the Chrome driver object. So I'll use the browser utility class dot, in our test cases, I'll say get driver. So simply I'll pass the Chrome here. So after calling to this method, so this particular method is returning as the WebDriver object, right? So I'm assigning back. So here I'll say private here I'm just creating the reference variable of the WebDriver type. Now you can import the WebDriver in the current class. So that's it, guys. So I will copy this particular reference variable and I'll paste it here. That's it. So after calling this method, so this method is returning as the of type object, that is a driver type, WebDriver type. By taking this particular driver, so let us quickly discuss the test case what we are automating now. So simply I'll open the google.com now. After opening the browser, I'll enter the google.com. After that, simply we'll enter something in this particular search box. After that, we can simply hit the enter. So this particular method, so it will launch us as the Chrome browser. After that, by using the driver object, I'll call to the one method called get. So simply I'll specify the URL of this, that is a google.com. So let us inspect this particular search box. So we'll enter something here and after that we'll hit enter from the keyboard. So here I'll say inspect. So our code is ready till now. So it will launch us the Chrome browser, then it will enter this URL. After entering the URL, or I will type something in this particular search box. So here I'll write a simple XPath. Here I'm taking the attribute as a title and the value as a search. So I'll press Ctrl F and I'll say 2 forward slash then star. So inside that I'll say title equal to, in the single quotation I'll say search. So if you look at this, so it is matching with the only one element, so that is a search box. So simply I'll copy this XPath. So here I'll use the driver object dot find element by XPath. So simply I'll specify the XPath here. Yeah, then here I'll send the send keys. See guys, for reading the user and the password, we have used the just user as a keyword. If I open this Excel, right? So in our case, just we have read the user and the password. So what I'll pass, so I wanted to pass this as a value in the search box, that is the here in the google.com where search box is there. I need to pass the Selenium by backup iron. So for that reason, simply I'll use this keyword, that is a keywords. So I'll use the same test data in map dot get 0 and get. I'll simply paste it here. Only the key will be different. So the row what I'm getting is same, that is a 0th row, and only the key I need to pass the different. So simply I'll go here and I'll say here keywords. So that's it, guys. So simply I'll remove this system.out.println properties. So after entering this value, so I'll use the same driver.findElement dot. I'll use the same line, that is a driver.findElement by XPath. By using this, I'll say send keys. So inside this, I wanted to hit enter after entering this value, that is the Selenium by backup iron. So I wanted to hit enter from the keyboard. Sorry. So here I'll say keys dot enter. So that's it, guys. So after entering this particular value, that is a Selenium by backup iron, so it will press the enter from the keyboard. After that, I'll wait for a few seconds. Here I'll say thread dot sleep. Here I'll say 5000 seconds. Sorry, milliseconds. Simply you can say the add declaration. That is fine for now. Then finally I'll use the driver object dot quit. So that's it, guys. So let us run this particular test case. Then we'll add the multiple test cases like this. So like this we'll create the multiple test cases and how to fetch the data for each test cases has a different test data from the Excel file. So I'll close this and I'll say don't save. So this is our test one. So let us execute this test. Let me cancel it and save it here. So this test case, simply it opens the Chrome browser, then it enters the google.com, then it will enter the Selenium by backup in the Google search box. So for some reason it is getting failed. So let me check what was the reason. Just a second, guys. So if you look at here, right, let me maximize this. So if you look at here, right, in this particular method, that is a get driver, here after invoking this method, we are passing still as a null. So we have to pass the object of this particular driver. So after assigning Chrome driver object, we need to pass this particular driver object to the whenever anyone called to this particular method. So that's a simple change. So let us execute this test case now. So it should work this time. So if you look at this, it is already launched the Chrome browser, then it has entered this particular value which is there from the Excel, then it has pressed the enter, then it's waiting for a few seconds, then simply it's closing the browser, right? So if you look at here, there are 0 failures, total test run is 1, and that is passed. So let us add the multiple test cases like this now. So like this, I'll add the test case 2 as well, that is a test 2. So after that, let me open the Excel file So I wanted to read the test case to test data. So now in the first test case, it has to pass the Selenium by backup ion. In the second test case, it has to pass the Selenium C# by backup ion, right? So what I will do, I'll go here in the test cases. So simply I'll change this particular index. I'll increase to the 1. So in this particular index only, I'm having the test case to test data from the Excel file. So simply I'll close this. So that's it, guys. So the first test case will execute by passing the test data as a Selenium by backup ion, and our test 2 will run with that different set of test data. So here I'm passing the Selenium C# by backup ion. So let us execute this Selenium WebDriver TestNG test case. So now it will execute the 2 test cases. Now if you look at here, right? So first it has passed the Selenium by backup ion. Then it is closing the web browser. So now the second test case is running. So if you look at here, right? So it has passed the Selenium Selenium C# by backup ion. Here you go. So if you look at here, all our 2 test cases got passed. So let me open the Excel file. So we'll add one more test cases. See guys, so what I'll do, I'll add one more test case, that is a test 7. So we'll pass the data in the Google search box as a Selenium grid by backup ion. So let us add the test case 7 now. So simply I'll copy this test case. Here I'll say the test as a 7. So simply I'll pass the index here. So that is the 6. So this particular list of map values always starts from the 0th. If you look at our Excel file, we are having a test case 7, but we are passing the index as a 6th, so that it will get the respective value. So let me close this Excel. So that's it, guys. So what I will do, now we are having the total 3 test cases. That is a test 1, where we are passing the data from our Excel, that is Selenium by backup ion. Then in the second test, that is a test 2, we are passing the Selenium C# by backup ion. Then in the test 7, we are passing the different test data, that is Selenium grid by backup ion, right? So simply I'm executing this whole suite now. Now the first test case is invoking. If you look at this, Selenium by backup ion. Now the test 2 execution started. If you look at here, right, Selenium C# by backup ion. Now the test 7 execution started. So if you look at here, right, Selenium grid by backup ion. So that's it, guys. If you look at the console output, we had our test run is 3. There are 0 failures. If you look at here, all the test cases are passed. So this is how exactly you can read the different test data from the Excel for different test cases. So that's all I have in this session. If you like this tutorial, click on the like and also share with your friends and colleagues. If you are having any feedback, please comment in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching this tutorial.